From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your morning update.
When it's more than just your lawn, it deserves the Kubota Z400. When you need a head-turning offer on class-leading speed, agility, durability, simple deck height adjustments, and a professional-grade cut, then you need the Kubota Z400 mower. Right now, bring home select Kubota equipment for 0 down, 0% APR for up to 48 months or save $300.
Tractors, trailers, rentals.
You do it all, we do it local.
Well, happy Monday morning to you. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Kruger, Weather NorCal here. And you know what? The week is just to start, but I don't think you're going to be too disappointed with what the weather has in store for us this week. Let's get to Kruger's Quick Cast, where I just give you the forecast and real briefly here in a couple of minutes here. And then, of course, we go into a deeper dive after that. So let's get you out the door this morning. And you know what? I think in the mountains, you know, you may need a light jacket, but I mean, low 50s, not that bad. 55 in the East Mountains. Right around 8 o'clock this morning, around 60 for the valley here. And of course, for the coast, you're looking at those temperatures in the mid 50s. Now, it's going to be warming up later this afternoon, but really still staying below normal, and most likely even in the valley staying below 90 degrees in many cases here. Some clouds coming in later this afternoon with a disturbance off to our south and west, but that's really the extent of it. We don't have any rain at least the next couple of days. But that changes. You'll see that in the 7-day forecast. Here's what we have for today. As I mentioned, most of us should stay below 90. Redding, yeah, okay, you may hit 90, 91, but you get the idea. Mainly upper 80s for the valley, 70s for most of the higher elevations today, and for the coast, temperatures in the low to mid 60s. All right, so let's take a look at that 7-day outlook. This is what I was talking about. It's going to be a little bit warmer for your Tuesday, Wednesday, but we're only talking by a couple of degrees, still below normal for this time of the year. But look at Thursday. We're down to the 80s by Thursday with a chance for showers as early as Thursday and then on Friday. I'm going to be kind of adjusting this as we get closer to the time frame, so it's going to be around a Thursday, Friday, Saturday. We're kind of looking at those 3 days, but as far as the main event, it looks to be sometime around Friday. All right, so speaking of Friday, temperatures down even cooler, back into the 70s for your highs, and then we're back in the 80s Saturday. It looks like a bit of a warm-up as we go into next week. But of course, that's a long ways out. Let's enjoy this week. There's a look at your 7-day outlook for the coast. Temperatures mid-60s. Thursday, Friday is pretty much broad brush again as we go into all of Northern California. We take a look at Siskiyou County, Modoc County, the eastern mountains, temperatures dropping, getting toward the end of the week, and then going back up and drying out as we take you into the weekend. All right, that was your Kruger's Quick Cast. Now let's go into the deeper dive, and we start off with those weather headlines. And it's going to be a mild start to the week with a slight warming trend in the next few days. Now, highs will stay below normal all this week, even possibly into most of the weekend, with cooler weather and possible showers near the end of next week. You saw that on the 7-day forecast, but let's take a look at your air quality. Still looking pretty good. We're beginning to see the air quality get a little bit lower as we start to kind of get into these drier conditions here, but overall, don't expect to see a lot of smoke coming out of these fires. Now, we take a look at the Park Fire, and again, this is always have to remind yourself when you're watching the 6 o'clock update that these numbers change in the early to mid-morning hours. So around the time I'm recording this, usually about an hour to 2 hours after I record this, these numbers typically change. But you get the idea. We're not seeing a lot of change at this point. The black lines here are the lines of containment at 51% containment with the Park Fire. We take you out to the Boise Fire at just under 12,000 acres at 12% containment. And again, you can see it's mainly on the west side here, just this one area that they're hoping to kind of get under control here soon. All right, let's take a look at your forecast winds out there. And what we're seeing here, the wind's still a bit gusty off to the east, especially in the eastern portions of Modoc County and into Lassen County as well. That's the case again tomorrow, but overall the winds are not going to be that much of a factor. Now, you can still see that the National Weather Service still wants to put us within that elevated range here for eastern Modoc County, and then including tomorrow, eastern Lassen County in there as well. Again, it's just because we've got those winds kind of blowing a bit here off to the east. We've also got the low humidity. The combination of the two is just really not helping matters, is it? All right, so we take a look at your humidity. Of course, you can see pretty low humidity. Again, that's why we have that higher fire danger there. Take you out to Chico, about 13%. And of course, closer to the Boise fire, the humidity levels are a bit better. All right, so we take you into your Tuesday, kind of the same situation, right? We're still looking at those dry conditions out there. All right, so let's take a look at the fire weather risk. This is just a forecast model saying, hey, here are the temperatures, the winds, and the humidity. Here's your overall risk for fires. Should a new one start, how quickly will it spread? Now, we don't have much in the way of even yellow on the map, so we're basically within that low category in most cases. But again, keep in mind, we do have that lower humidity and those stronger winds here off to the east, which is why the National Weather Services kind of put us in that elevated risk here. So you can see kind of this big broad trough of low pressure right here. That's the cooler air that's going to be moving in here, but later this week, it's going to take a few days before it actually really gets here. But again, you can see some of the clouds moving in from to the north and west of the valley here. And then as we go into tonight and tomorrow, I mean, not even really much in the way of fog out along the coast. Now, tomorrow afternoon, we are seeing some afternoon convection, which is going to be those afternoon cumulus clouds. But at this point, I'm not anticipating much in the way of rain, if any. There may be a stray shower in there tomorrow afternoon, so don't be surprised if you live in, say, Mount Shasta or Wairika or even parts of Scott Valley where you could run into a stray shower tomorrow. But overall, the wetter weather, the better chances for rain get here by around Thursday. You'll notice we're starting to see that spin. We're starting to see some of that rain move in. Friday at this point looks to be the day that we've got the best chance for some of that coming in. And then Saturday, it looks like it moves out, not to mention this entire weekend and going into next week. It looks dry, but looks like we may have a little bit of that monsoon moisture kind of working in from the south. So there's the cooler air. That's actually moving on out. Now what's going to move in behind it is this area of low pressure right here. This is not only going to drop our temperatures, but of course you saw that chance for rain on Thursday. That'll be the case again on Friday, and then it kicks on out of here by the time we get into Saturday, Sunday. So this is when temperatures may start to really ramp up. We're beginning to see more of this heat coming in from the desert southwest. That could mean temperatures back in the upper 90s, maybe even triple digits, maybe even as early as Sunday, but sometime around early next week. But until then, hey, we can't really complain a whole lot, can we? We look at the first week and a half of this month, and minus the first Saturday of the month, we actually were 100 degrees or higher in Redding. Now, all last week, we were below 100 degrees, mainly in the 90s. This past weekend, mid to upper 80s. You can't beat that. And as we extend on into this week, temperatures staying below 100 degrees, down to the 70s by Friday, but there's that ramp up. You can see by the time we get to Monday, upper 90s, and kind of hovering around that 100-degree mark by next Tuesday, Wednesday. But you know what? We've been spoiled. So, I mean, this is around normal. I mean, this blue line is the normal high that we typically see. We've been below this blue line for the last week or so, and we will be, as you can see here, for the next week. It's not until we get into next week that we'll probably get closer to normal. All right, so here's your wave heights. You can see, of course, not that much of an issue here for today. We go into your Tuesday, same situation. Looks like they elevate just a little bit, but nothing to be terribly concerned about. Your marine forecast for today: east winds at about 5 knots, waves from the northwest at 2 feet at 8 seconds, and there will be some of that patchy fog out there, especially in the morning. All right, here's your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures in the mid to upper 80s, although some of the cooler spots like Burnt Ranch at about 79, as well as High and Palm and Ruth. We'll take you out to the North Coast neighborhood forecast. Now again, notice the 7-day outlook. Everybody in Northern California has a chance for showers Thursday and Friday. We're going to be fine-tuning that forecast a little bit better here. Some places are going to see better chances than others, and we may also be talking about potential for some thunderstorms in there as well. Taking a look at your Siskiyou County neighborhood forecast, these temperatures are going to be dropping significantly by the end of the week before they go back up for the weekend. Your Modoc County neighborhood forecast today: dry. Temperatures mainly in the low 80s. Looks like a little bit cooler in Tule Lake and 80 and about 77 degrees. We take you off into the eastern mountains with 85 degrees for Susanville, 80 in Bernie, 72 degrees for Viola, Portola, about 80 degrees. And your valley neighborhood forecast to the south: 88 for Chico, 87 Los Molinos, and Elk Creek, about 85 degrees. Up north, 89 for Redding. So yes, some of us could touch that 90-degree mark today, but for the most part, we should stay below even 90 degrees for your Monday. All right, let's take a look at that 7-day outlook for Redding. We're back up to about 90. Okay, that's as we go into Tuesday, Wednesday. That's that slight increase I was talking about. But then we're right back down to the 80s on Thursday, 70s by Friday, 80s on Saturday, and then of course those temperatures start to ramp right back up by the end of this weekend, and especially into early next week.
We're the locals down the street. The neighbor you come to for advice. A nest egg for the golden years. a loan, or a new account for that growing business. What started in Chico 50 years ago has taken us all around California, providing big bank lending power and high-tech service while keeping our relationships personal. We're still the locals down the street, no matter where your street might be. Tri-Counties Bank, California's local bank.